But let's talk about me.
On a random Saturday in Sunny Slope, all sorts of people of all ages gather inside a senior center to listen and laugh about, yes, an iconic, well-known local television show, but one that has been off the air since 1989. But it's at the end of the discussion, a moment where a full-grown adult turns back into a child again. With all the wonder and excitement from something that was just beyond his reach almost a lifetime ago. Yes, a simple brown paper Ladmo bag filled with candy, snacks, and a variety of sponsor coupons was the holy grail to any Valley child growing up and watching the Wallace and Ladmo show. Pick a word: zany, sophisticated, irreverent, hip, silly, bold. All describe one of the longest-running locally produced live children's show here in the United States.
If somebody comes in from Galesburg, Illinois, and says, well, I heard you did a kid show, and it was the Walter and Lumbar or something like that. And I said, it was Wallace and Ladmo. And he said, which one were you? I said, well, it was Wallace and Ladmo, and then I was everybody else.
Longtime Valley television and radio broadcaster Pat McMahon was a tour de force on the show, playing dozens of memorable characters that brought comedy to all age levels. But bottom line,
we never talked down to kids. Some of those people in some of those other towns just put a sailor hat on and thought it was enough to say, here's Popeye. But we so appreciated the wisdom of the kids picking up on comedy bits, and why shouldn't we be the ones to make them laugh?
A co-worker with that dynamic trio and host of her own iconic Cooking with Rita show, Rita Davenport, describes what it was like in those golden days of television.
We had viewership that you couldn't buy today. I mean, it was incredible because there was really only about 4 choices of what to watch. And it was just amazing how many people did watch your show, and you were so grateful.
The iconic children's show Wallace and Ladmo aired from 1954 to 1989 on KPHO. Now, more than 3 decades later, people are still gathering, reminiscing, talking about the show and their memories. The big question is, after all this time, why?
Because I didn't have to take the world as serious as you had to any other time. And I don't know if it's going to glare on you too much or not. Can you get that?
Oh, wow. Pat Wiedenpool shares his most prized possession, a scrapbook packed with proof that the show was the real deal for himself then and now for his own kids.
First 25 years show ran from 4 to 5 in the afternoon. That gave me enough time to get home from school and throw the books aside and just escape for an hour. Watch ridiculousness, watch cartoons, watch Wallace and Ladmo, so on and so forth.
To 78-year-old Susan Mears, Wallace and Ladmo was and is a constant presence in her life.
I don't know, it was funny. It was funny, and it wasn't just for kids, you know, and as I grew up, I understood more of the satire and I just loved the show.
But what about now, as an adult?
I don't know how to explain it. It just is. It's just part of who I am.
Arizona Republic reporter Richard Ruelas has written 2 books about the show and its creators, and still marvels at the power of the production to this day.
This was a time when, there were a lot of kid shows across the country. Everyone in every city had 2 or 3 of these kid shows. Ours was funny. Ours was unique. Ours had mayors and senators. Barry Goldwater was on the show. And we had 35 years. It wasn't a short time. We had 35 years of a very unique experience here, singular in the nation. And I think people kind of want to recapture that feeling.
Julia Taggart organizes the lunches, and at just 25 years old, she's a super fan of something that was off the air almost 10 years before she was even born. But for now, even after all this time, those fans, old and new, will keep coming.
It was an intimate, TV is intimate. As you said, you feel like you know these people. and you grew up with them. You continue to grow with them. So it's this whole process of life. As you know, you go through different cycles. They never left those cycles with you. And I think it's amazing to see that KPHO is turning 75 years old and people still remember.
Goodbye, everybody!
Goodbye. Now get out of the picture.
As for journalist Richard Ruelas, he says he never got a Ladmo bag and remembers the exact name of the boy who did that day.
Pretty cool stuff.
Everybody talks about the Ladmo bags.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome report. Thanks so much, Scene.